but look at us now. And she's way less intrusive, to be honest. Like, he and I talked about what we want our lives to look like, the ideal situation and then the realistic situation. And then, we put forward, and then it's because we were so clear with each other, the outside environment impacted us less.
Yeah.
Be because I'd be interested to ask him like what huge compromises he's done for me. Um, I'll ask him and like maybe I'll post something later. But I definitely did some huge compromising. But because I knew that it was worth it because by the time we were having those arguments, we'd been together for a while, and he was cooking me dinners, he was buying me flowers, he was so affectionate, he was such a good listener, such a good. I was like, well, I mean, okay, I've got all of these amazing things. I can't have everything, so I'm just gonna work on the tough stuff.
Yeah. We tend to overly focus on the things that are not working or the things that they're lacking. And then either completely miss or just don't see the good things that they
Mm.
have or the good things they do for us. And it's just important to focus on that and on just showing each other that love and care no matter what. And because I mean, no matter, so with JT, it's like the issue with his ex and and your bonus child. But with with a different person, it could be something else entirely. There's always going to be something that comes up. And if you just give up and are not willing to have any compromises or not willing to be even the slightest bit unhappy, then you're never going to find someone who's going to truly make you happy. And I think obviously it all starts with being happy with ourselves first and foremost. And I think just in general, when you're in a relationship and with a person, I think you said it once that the person that you're with the most is the person that you're most likely to argue with
Yeah,
because you're just with them all the time and there's things that come up. And and in Zev's and I's our annual argument, we had not long ago. I had like this new thing came up of like this thought came up of when you're arguing, you still need to show each other love, care, and affection. In the sense of like, it doesn't mean that you have to be all lovey-dovey throughout the argument, but we had this, I don't even know how to define what this argument was about, but we had a miscommunication, a misunderstanding. And throughout this argument, I just felt like Zev did not care about me whatsoever. And
mm,
that was the most difficult thing in the whole thing. I was
yeah,
hurt from the argument itself and from what happened, but just that feeling that he was like so angry and he there's these specific arguments that we have where he gets into a specific mode where he's just seeing red and he's like completely detached and he's aware of this and we've spoken about it, but it's really hard because I felt like this person who's supposed to love me no matter what, this person who I'm so deeply in love with, just doesn't care.
yeah.
I'm hurt and I'm insulted and I'm like feeling all alone in this. And I remember it was like a few days of like just all over the place. And and on Friday night, we went to my sister's for a Friday night meal and we were still a bit iffy with each other. And I remember at some point, we're all sitting around, and my 7-year-old niece, I don't know why she came up with this, but children and their things, but she suddenly she turned to her mother and she goes, right when daddy and mommy argue, they still love each other. And I was like,
Very
it was just such
perceptive.
yeah, and it's such a like this innocent kind of, she's very perceptive in general. She asks very interesting questions. But at that moment, I just wanted to burst out crying because I was just like, I was so emotionally drained from the argument. I was feeling so alone already
Oh,
because of the whole thing. And I was just like, and later on that night, Zev and I finally had a proper conversation. And he was like, I don't understand why a 7-year-old child can have this deep
Perception.
perception of this, but I'm having a hard time expressing love while being angry. And I think that's something that we can learn from
Yeah.
a 7-year-old child, of just like learning to have that. I don't know that, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just like that kind of,
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, just this morning, my bonus daughter was, oh, I could have, I could have strangled her. She, I mean, I guess she's feeling that, the baby's coming and everything, and I get it. But she looked at me and she said, "Do you still love me?" And I was like, so, I mean, obviously I crouched down and I said, "Listen, it's not because you're behaving badly that I don't love you, but it's not an excuse." And we had a talk, and
yeah,
we were thinking about it of just, you know, yeah, just it's not because we're arguing that there's no love. And JT said something because it's been tough with her this week. It's been
mm,
she's been tough. And I think JT was yesterday or day before yesterday that he said angrily, "I love you. You're being annoying, but I was always love you." And he said it in a way it was just, he's very good
yeah,
at reminding her that he loves her even though he's angry with her. Oh, and then he said, "And it's because I love you that I'm angry with you. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't
you
care what
wouldn't
you
care.
do."
Yeah.
And and I think that's such a, it's obvious. Yes, obviously we love our children and we love them and we care. But I mean, I was like, it's true. Like if his ex cheated on him, um,
Mm,
and I'm and he didn't care because he didn't love her anymore.
yeah,
Whereas
it's
I
true.
think that if it happened now, it would devastate him. And I think that's the key of just, you know, arguing again within the, without violence is a sign of caring. And I think that's why, you want to work through it. And I think arguing too often isn't healthy either.
Hmm.
But if there's a bump in the road, you want, if there's a bump in the road a week after you met the guy, then no. But after, a couple of months, so not that long, you want to see where it goes. It has to be a bump, not a mountain. You know,
Yeah.
the longer the road, the bigger the bump, I'd say.
Yeah. I think to tie it back to being willing to be unhappy, I think there's like you have to set a sort of like metaphorical timer of like
Mm,
how long am I willing to be unhappy, and what do I need to happen in this time to justify it. So I have a friend that is not happy in her relationship, and she keeps saying, okay, this is a timestamp, but nothing happens. He's not doing anything to really change or to help them move forward. And so she keeps moving that timestamp forward, and he keeps like, so your word means nothing, so it doesn't matter what timestamp
yeah,
you put on it. I'm just not going to care, like, he's not
yeah,
taking it seriously. And so then it just keeps dragging out, and they keep being unhappy. So yes, you should be willing to be unhappy with quotation marks, but to a certain extent. It doesn't mean that you have to be miserable in your relationship. It just means it's okay to not be completely happy in it. And if something's bothering you in it, you have to be proactive in trying to fix or change
yeah,
or work on what's making you unhappy like that. And if
yeah,
one side keeps dragging it out and not willing to talk about it or not willing to work on it, then it's not worth being unhappy. But if you're
yeah,
both putting in the effort and both being communicative and being willing to work, then that unhappiness is worth it. And and nothing lasts forever. I keep reminding myself when I go through hard times, when I'm feeling anxious or when I'm feeling sad, this is not going to go on forever.
yeah,
And when we're in it, a lot of times it feels like this feeling is never going to end, but it will end. It will get better as long as you are proactive and do something about it, you know?
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I was thinking to other couples that I know and my parents and things. My mum went through a really tough time a few years ago, and my dad stuck around because he's a great guy. But I think
Yeah.
also part of him was like, I don't know, it was like, how old was I? Yeah, it must have been 20. So they would have been 20, they would have been together for 25 years at this point. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that a part of him was like, I've been with this woman for 25 years. We have three kids, three properties, whatever. Like, it's not because it's tough that I need to give up. Like, it was tough on him as well, but they worked through it, and and it lasted a good few years. Like, it was a
Yeah.
tough time in my family. Um, but they got over it. They
Yeah.
got over it.
Which is
And it
amazing.
wasn't, and it yeah, it didn't cross that violence boundary, and then so they
Hmm.
just worked through it. Because I mean, also imagine starting it, unless you love it, but this isn't the point. But starting all over again after that amount of time.
Wow.
I
No,
mean,
that's crazy.
some of my coaching clients that are men, the women left, and then when they told me kind of why, I was just like, these are the women that are giving up extremely easily because they think that the
Hmm.
grass is greener. The men, I the men kind of recognize that they kind of let go and put in less effort,
Hmm.
and so I was coaching them, so helping them through it. But I would have also told the women, you need to put in some effort as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What can you do? It takes constant effort and work, like anything in life. If you want to stay fit and not gain weight or not be unhealthy, then you have to live a healthy lifestyle. And it has to be
Exactly.
something that you're doing constantly and not like a month here, a month there, a week here, a day
Yep.
there. And also being able to show love, care, and affection even when it's hard. And to remind each other, I still love you and I still care about you, even though I'm angry with you. And also to accept that it's okay that you're angry with me. I'm allowing you to be angry with me,
Mm,
and that's fine.
yeah. And be
Anyway,
uncomfortable.
and be uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, be willing to work through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whew.
What Tell us, like, what huge compromises that you did and then
Yeah.
but ended up working out.
Yeah. And if you're willing to be unhappy, and for how long are you willing to be unhappy?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
don't forget to like, comment, subscribe wherever you are. Join
Yeah.
our community. Be happy
And
to see
see
you
you
here.
guys soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.